which are two separate things. Your event is starting. There we go. And let's repeat that message. Hello, Internet. Hi, it's Cecilia. I'm here in Louisville, Kentucky at Prophecy Inc. at the Daron's Guitar Chronicles fan meetup. Got several fans here who are some super fans of this series. The reason I put this meetup here is because they all lived within driving distance of Louisville, and of course I'm on my way to see the eclipse tomorrow. So we're all at a tattoo parlor called Prophecy Inc., and several fans are getting tattooed, and I'm about to get tattooed. I'm getting the tattoo that Daron got when he and Ziggy went off to that tattoo shop in the middle of the night in Los Angeles 200 chapters ago or whenever it was. He got it on his left shoulder. I'm getting the mirror image on my right shoulder. So, and it's the first time I'm getting tattooed on my right shoulder, so that's kind of cool. So it's the art that Ziggy drew of the rocket. I'm going to now hand the cameras off to my assistants, and I'm going to go upstairs to get tattooed. All right? Okay, you guys, we're live.
Okay.
All right, so I'm going to hand you these. Each one of these is a separate camera.
Okay.
One's going to YouTube and one's going to Facebook.
Okay.
So
I should maybe stop eating my lunch then.
Yep.
It's time.
So here you go.
All right. For the moment. While I take these last bites.
So yeah, what you'll see here. Hang on a second. I need to be seeing it. Yeah, there we go.
Okay. What do you? What?
I'm going to switch this one around so that we can. So it'll be pointing the direction you're pointing as opposed to being the selfie camera. All right, I'm going up to the tattoo artist.
Okay.
Okay.
I'm slightly hindered now.
Hang on one sec. Here, hand me that.
You take that. Sorry, everyone. Oh, double sorry, everyone. Oh, just hold the phone. There you go.
Right.
Hang on. My ID, which is right here.
Okay. Which forks? This is not trash. Not trash.
Hold that.
This is very Blair Witch,
Yeah.
except it's in color. Less.
Terrifying.
Yeah. I'm waiting for Kate to put her lunch back together.
All right, where are y'all headed?
Upstairs, I guess.
Upstairs, I think. I can't really tell if I'm filming you or not because I can't see this. You could have set this up on my phone, you know.
Except that I don't have Wirecast software on your phone.
Well, we could have installed it.
Here.
Those chairs are awesome.
Yeah, hang on. Get my face back again. All right, so we're now upstairs. You got to see this place. Prophecy Inc. is a really excellent tattoo shop that came highly recommended. I'm going to introduce you to my tattoo artist. Everyone, this is Chris.
Hi, everybody.
So,
Meeting up though.
yeah. All right. I was going to say, you might end up putting that there or something.
What's the URL for this?
You got to look on my social media to find it.
Seriously, back
This is my tattoo artist, Chris.
Hi, everybody.
Everybody doesn't like that.
Yeah. Well, so if people can make they can.
Is there a link to it from the DJC site?
It's not on the DGC site itself, but if you go to twitter.com/Cecilia Tan, you should see it.
Okay.
How do I spell your?
Cecilia Tan, all one word.
We have one viewer. Just one, a little eye.
Look at all that here. I saw that
After
in
the
one month.
catch-up, I'm going to read from this coming week's chapter. We'll do some Q&A and some other fun stuff too.
Oh, no.
Hang around.
I'm going to apologize for that scene where I work. Sorry. Yeah, work.
I think so. Maybe. I don't know if Colin has one. Okay.
Oh, I didn't realize that they're not smart.
Steps up here real fast. Let everybody at home see. All right, pick it up.
Are you planning to put other stuff on that arm too?
It might not.
So, just applied the, the ditto, the mimeograph. There's a camera in here. Hi.
And then there are two different streams, one to YouTube and one to Facebook. We're the one we're gonna run that. If you want anyone else to say hi to the people, go ahead and drop them in. My leg goes.
I'm way too easily used to myself.
I did mention he was a little odd, right? I was gonna say,
Do you know any tattoo artists that aren't
I think nothing's been out yet.
a little odd?
The most cool person I know.
Who do you hang out with normally?
that I put some-
Tattoo artist. Like, who do you hang out with normally? Tattoo artist.
Really?
Yeah.
Say it one more time to father than anybody.
All right.
smart and a ton of space. Came upstairs, they did that much it took like and then spent 2.5, 3 hours downstairs talking more than so people leave her, she's talking, and then someone's like, okay, I need to go move my car because they didn't want to tell it. And she was able to come back to the show the next weekend, and they changed it out every couple of months. It used to be seasonal, but the next one opened in the second one. Last one was where I done with cabs, and at one point they had like musicians and other things. So there's a very sure pets at the cabs station, and I walked in and was supposed to do. I wish she was here today. She's been talking about doing a tattoo on his own behalf, that's sometimes, and then she falls down and everything. Almost before the dog.
don't have no free time to be here 5-6 days a week. 6 o'clock, 11, 10 o'clock. It will take me that long. That's last show I did was the very last show. This month, you did chess. I love the show. I'm playing. I figured the guy's name. Brought in somewhere. I don't know who the guy was. This guy, and I'm telling you, I sit there from 9:30. Or, all right, well, I didn't see those 3 o'clock cross today. I'm like, you literally had me here for 5 hours. Yeah, you just walk across today, just walk after somebody. You don't speak, you don't do anything. You just, one shot, I have to walk away. Just a rewrite show. This isn't big.
She improvises words. Talking about how she's forgotten the song. So, it's like, if you're a Bobby Daron fan or a Louis Armstrong fan, I'm sorry.
Cecilia, I'm going to bed off at this hand. All right. I'm going to try and start the try and all the work. Take care, wonderful ladies. Go on. Eat popcorn. It's its own food. Popcorn. You got the memo. Thanks for coming. All right, dude.
See you smile.
All right, here we got to show you guys what the finished thing looks like. All right, so next plan is we're gonna do a reading. I'm gonna pay for the attention, and then we're gonna do a reading. Don't mind that. Q&A, and I'm gonna make people take a quiz of the Daron's prophecy. I might not put the answer. I may make people
One more time. Oh, yeah.
Yeah. She got that. She was basically yeah. So it's like the syllabus, the other university, the rockstar.
Ready for seconds again.
It did originally. It got published by the Captain of the Warrior Wings, and then it got reissued.
Alright, leave that on for the tomorrow. Check it out. Wash your head. Wait till it dries.
Yeah.
Then you get back on, then on for 4 or 5 days. Love it. It's pretty amazing. The rusty, the scabby, the oozy, takes all that away. That thing will be like a lot of other things in the hospital. It's supposed to be close to African blood, it's ooze,
It was just like
sticking to your skin, there's all the crap in there. Like I said, it'll be gross enough. Blood, good water. Well,
I spent like 2 weeks there.
get a nice grab, and he's on that little lotion.
Yeah, I had that. I was going to Long Island, and I got turned around. This was year 2000. We all thought that everything was going to shut down. I had a friend who was on Long Island with his family, and so I don't know how I got turned around, but. All right, I guess we're going to go back downstairs to finish the
okay,
15.
sure.
Oh, I like that. All right. We're going to go downstairs to do the thing.
And then you're gonna come back up here.
I don't know. I want to do the reading and whatnot.
And I want to be gone
And
before
he
you
wants
start,
to get out of here.
because I don't want you
Right.
before knowledge.
Yeah. He doesn't want to know what this is. This is step. Yeah. Yeah.
Tuesday mornings
I
at
hope
6.
it's not Monday.
Right.
It's like, because then I'll be like, right here. All right. Oh, I mean,
And we do the next one someplace far off the west.
We're gonna do next year San Francisco.
I'm going to be very slow.
right.
Oh, but is your number and
Yeah.
oh yeah.
All right. While we're here, let's look at some of the cool things that are to look at in here because this place is really. So this is it's a tattoo parlor and art gallery. So sometimes there's art in these walls. The moment there's no show going on, but there's some really cool stuff in here. I guess we got to figure out where we're gonna do it. This is a really nice, just a beautiful space overall. What's with this tiny chair? No, it's kind of fun. Here's where I'm walking.
Just cross the streams.
Wait, what happens when the two videos look at each other? Ah! That's a lot of awards. So Travis King's the owner, founder, whatnot of the place. It's called Prophecy Inc. Look, here's some more trophies and things. In the back here, we've got some video games and, of course, the toilette, the litter box. Somebody's got a thing about cats here, definitely. You can see it's a perfect place for me, obviously. Yeah, so Louisville's cool. I had not been to Louisville since I was a child. I lived in Kentucky when I was about 3.5, 4 years old when my dad came back from Vietnam, serving in the Vietnam War. He's finished out his service at Fort Knox, and so we lived in Kentucky. And we drove around and whatnot. So my mother was like, "Oh yeah, you've been to Louisville," but I don't really remember it. I remember Kentucky sort of in a general way. I remember catching turtles in the little creek that ran behind our house and stuff like that. But I don't remember a lot else. Hang on, they need me. But so I'm going to read this week's chapter. The chapter that's coming up, so you guys will get a special preview of it. And we're trying to figure out what the best place is for us to do that. So Stephanie's stuck getting
do those red
tattooed.
chairs up
So
there?
I'm wondering if we should do it in there. If they'll turn
Yeah.
the music down, we could do it in there. And this is the computer that has the stuff on it. So you want me to bring that back to Chris and find out what he wants to film? Okay. All right. Great. Then let's go back upstairs. In here, is it running out of battery?
Yes.
Oh dear. I'll say, attach the backup battery if you can. Here's the cord.
All right. I'll do it when we get
Here's a battery.
I've got the battery.
Do you
Yes.
have it on you?
Yes.
Okay, you're
I
ready.
have the big one.
Okay. I want to show you also the fantastic cupcakes.
Feel free to take the cups if you want.
Cool, eh? I've eaten one of each flavor already. Actually, I haven't. No, actually, I didn't have the first one. I've had the red velvet and I've had the chocolate.
What's the other one?
But I've forgotten what the first one is. Yellow cake with caramel. In fact, you'll see I put the things in my hair. Because that's the kind of nerd that I am. Hang on, I'm going to put these. Put my derm down. take a little water bottle in case I need it. All right. So we're thinking if we can, should we go and do the reading next to Stephanie so that she can hear it also? And there's those chairs and stuff there, so people can all sit. Yeah.
There's those red like pew chairs right there.
Okay.
Look like theater chairs.
Yeah.
If you wanted to, you could probably take one of those. I go what? You could probably just.
All right. Let's go on up there.
They're not ours. They're here for
Come up.
the last.
Mm-hmm.
Oh, okay.
There's another cool, more cool decor. Alright. So the others felt that it would be unfair to you to not hear it. So we're wondering if we could get you to turn the music down so we could do the reading in here so you can hear it also.
Oh, it's so sweet.
I'll put myself here. I have to pull up the document.
You guys are so sweet.
So this hasn't been like proofread or any of that stuff yet because it's like everybody's. I keep a pretty good eye on where the tip jar is, you know. I'm actually gonna read you 2 sections, I think. So, because I did try to get a tiny bit ahead. These aren't titled yet either, so I will happily take your suggestions of what to title it. Right, the last chapter you guys read was "You Don't Know How It Feels," right? Yeah. You say you're crying already. You haven't even started. I haven't started yet.
No, I get stressed out. I get way too involved in this emotionally.
Okay.
So he was crying.
Yes, Daron had, where we left off is Daron had just burst into tears. I'm gonna start the next section after that. As soon as, where'd Keisha go? We need Keisha to come back. But yeah, so they're in Bogota, Colombia. And yeah, and Daron has just had this sort of all near hallucination of the way it's set up is that, you know, it's a big soccer stadium, which is kind of a big oval. The stage is part way, you know, in, and then from where the stage to the rest of the stadium is all full of people, right? And in the back, though, there's nothing. They don't sell those tickets, you know, and whatnot. And so the back of the stage faces this empty amphitheater, essentially. And he sits on the back of the stage and has this, like, moment of, like, he can hear the crowd who are coming in, and he imagines that they're sort of like the ghosts of the people who would have seen him, you know, in the band that he wanted, you know, the band that he really wanted, right? So, yeah. Yeah. So, but yeah. But, hang on, I'm going to open this bottle of water, so I'm not trying to open it later. If I'm going to read. So, I'm just waiting for Keisha to come back. I want to make sure I...
No, she's teasing me.
Yeah. No, we're... It also won't take me terribly long to read this, so... But okay, so I should show you guys what this looks like. Where they've got actual theater chairs in here, so this is gonna work out kind of crazy good.
It's pretty awesome.
Yeah, it's like this whole building is just really cool. But I'm gonna turn around. You can see, yeah, there you go. So it's like got theater chairs all set up. It's kind of cool. I took my glasses off now so that I can read. And computer, no, that's the wrong word processor. What? Why do I have more than one word processor open? Okay. Where'd she go? Ladies' room? I don't know. Go get her. Yeah. She might be doing her paperwork too, because she's got to She's about to get a tattoo also. So how many people got tattoos today, all total? 4, including me, right? And then, oh, yeah. Gina, are we talking you into getting a tattoo also, or no?
I can.
All right, so that's a maybe.
Gee, that was hard.
All right. Actually, ask Chris if he'll turn down his music also so that people can hear this. Yeah, and then we'll. Are you good? We're good. Okay. So this is the chapter after Daron has just burst into tears. If you remember where we left off. I was accustomed to asking myself the question, what the fuck is wrong with you? In the past, that had been because I'd swallowed a lot of society's bullshit that made me think there was something wrong with me. It was pretty recent for me to have decided that the answer to that question, what the fuck is wrong with you, is nothing. Nothing was wrong with being gay or being artistic or any of the other things society or Digger or whoever wanted to judge me for. But bursting into tears because of a near hallucination, what the fuck was wrong with me? Nothing, I decided. There's nothing wrong with crying, first of all. Digger would have called me a sissy, and Digger would have been wrong. I wiped my eyes and decided I should look on the bright side. So few people got the chance to do what I was doing. I was being a dick if I didn't appreciate what was going on. I got down from the stage onto the grass and made my way around a barrier and climbed my way up into the empty stands. I went up and up. My chest twitched like my heart still hurt, though, like a sob was trying to get out. I ignored it. It made the climb to the top slow going. Great metaphor. When I was high enough up, I turned around and looked. It was a sight worth seeing. The sky was streaked with post-sunset purple, the soccer field was green, and the stage was set with a black structure in the center of a multicolored bowl. I sat there for a little while appreciating the sight, and then I felt better. I took my time going down. I felt cold. The temperature was dropping as night came on, but I didn't want to rush. My feet were not very steady, probably from the mix of vitamin F plus being shaky after an emotional outburst. I wanted to pretend if no one else had seen it, it hadn't happened, but it had. Eventually I made it back to the dressing room. I decided to keep my leather jacket on during the Stargaze set. What I would have normally done during a time interval like this, of course, was sit around and play the guitar. That was not a good idea if I wanted my hand to last through the main set, so I sat down and tried to memorize my own lyrics again. Fear of forgetting them was worse than opening night. And you know what sucks? I was more likely to forget the words when I was nervous, so if I was afraid of forgetting them, it became a self-fulfilling prophecy. Ouch. I went to Flip in the green room, who had a guitar in his lap and was, I think, obsessively working on one of tonight's songs, but still looked cool as a cucumber about it. I'm wound so tight I'm like a watch about to break, I said. Fortunately, the cure for that is legal and on hand, he replied. He set the guitar in a stand and then got up. He got a fat flask from his guitar case, and I followed him to another set of road cases. He cracked open a Gatorade from a stash he'd brought with him. Drink a mouthful of this. He meant the alcohol, not the Gatorade. I did, and he took the bottle back, poured a splash of alcohol into it, and another splash. No, actually, it was a mouthful of Gatorade, you're right. I did. He took the bottle back and poured a splash of alcohol into it, and another splash into a plastic cup. He put the cap back on the bottle and handed me the cup. I watched him write my name on the bottle in black Sharpie. That would become my mid-show Gatorade. By the way, if you think we discovered a new and exciting cocktail mixer, we didn't. Gatorade and whiskey is not delicious at all. When I say it's purely medicinal, it's because there's no recreational reason you'd drink it that way. It was Flip's way of making sure I'd drink both later. I knocked back the whiskey straight from the cup and exhaled like a dragon breathing fire. That solved the problem of me being cold, too. I put my own eyeliner on. Dawn, Skyward, Timeline, Shape of Space, Shocked Diamonds. I knew the set list, along with the lyric sheet Bart had written out, would be taped to the wedge in front of my microphone, but I repeated the song order to myself anyway. I took the eyeliner pencil and I wrote some of the words to Shocked Diamonds on the backs of my hands. Just a few of them as mnemonics. And then suddenly it was time to go on stage. The nickname for booze is Liquid Courage, right? I felt more like Liquid Stop Giving a Fuck. As I went up the stairs from the grass level onto the stage, I could feel it pumping through my bloodstream. Dawn starts slow and quiet, you might remember. I hung to the side and I just watched the others touching their instruments and making sounds that were music. They were looking at each other and not me, and I felt like there was an invisible ice wall forming between us. I had to shatter that ice before it got too thick or I'd be trapped in it. I grabbed the microphone and walked to the edge of the stage. Maybe walked isn't the right word. Strutted? I stepped in time with the electric drum heartbeat that was kicking in, and I started talking to the crowd in Spanish. Simple stuff. To a guy hanging over the barrier in front, "Hey, how are you?" To a woman a few feet over him, "Nice night, yeah?" Because I wasn't worrying about forgetting the words or getting the grammar wrong, I did fine. Really simple stuff, since that was what my Spanish was good for. You like Ziggy? I like Ziggy too. Interestingly enough, people seemed to be paying attention to what I was saying. Even though I was, in my mind anyway, talking to individual faces, I could make out along the barrier, I could hear the smattering of cheers on everything I said, approving-sounding cheers. And that felt really weird, like I was winning them over or something. I started to think about that a little, and I almost missed where the first lyrics were supposed to come in, but I turned around to face the band in time. My pitch was off, and I could tell, but that just made me more determined to break through that ice. Words that should have been sung were shouted, and when I came to the high note that opens the chorus, I let out something that I suppose should be described as a primal scream. Who the fuck cared about the lyrics? The crowd didn't know the songs, and neither did I. They'd poured out one night when Jordan had squeezed me like a toothpaste tube to see what came out. I might have been channeling a lot of anger during those recording sessions. I'm not sure. I was definitely channeling a lot of anger on the stage that night in Bogota. As we moved into the faster-paced songs, I tossed my hair and screamed and banged the mic stand against the stage, which probably wasn't a good idea, but live and learn. And by the time we got to Shock Diamonds, I had winded myself for the first time ever, so there was really no way to sing it anyway, and I just ended up shouting the words on the backs of my hands to get the crowds to shout them back. This wasn't even an English-speaking crowd, but it was obvious enough when I wanted them to answer. One of the words was jet. I know because I've seen a photo of me, sweat plastering a lock of my hair to my forehead, my fist clamped around the microphone as I'm screaming into it, and the word is visible on the back of my fist. The first time I saw that photo, I barely recognized myself, honestly. What you can't see in the photo is that I'm on my knees because I'm too winded to stand up. My heart is beating so hard it feels like it's going to crack my sternum. In the back of my mind, I'm thinking, maybe this much screaming isn't such a good idea because I feel like I'm about to pass out. The crowd liked it, though. All right, you want another chapter, too? Yes? All right. All right, one more. And so then this is the one after that. I did not pass out. I was kind of slow to get up, though, after the song ended. There was genuine, interested cheering from the crowd. Somehow, that was the last thing I was expecting. I felt a wave of vertigo then and a wave of nausea, as if I'd sung so hard I made myself sick. I just sat there and breathed for a while, and the feeling passed. And then a lick of pure pleasure rose through me. Post-show euphoria. Holy fuck, I did it. I threw my fists in the air and got off the stage. The British used the word shattered to mean exhausted. It always seemed like a weird use of the word to me, but that night it fit. I may as well have been in pieces all over that stage. I had 25 minutes to get myself back together. That included getting into my Ziggy stage wear. Should I call it an outfit? A suit? Costume? It was like clothes, except none of it was for wearing anywhere else. I pulled it from the rack and then sat there in my folding chair because I needed to sit. I needed to stop moving and be still for a few minutes. I put my stage towel over my head to make a little private meditation tent for one. My heart was still hammering like crazy. I wondered if maybe my heart was having a panic attack despite my brain being very calm chemically. I tried to think, what would I be panicking about now? Stargaze set was over. Ziggy's set was probably going to be fine. There were no imminent threats to my safety or my sanity. Digger was on another continent. So was Mills, for that matter. My hand felt okay right at that moment. Ziggy was fine as far as I knew. I turned the ring on my finger like I was turning a volume knob. Seeing it, touching it, was not as good as having a private moment with Ziggy, but it was overall a calming thing. So what was wrong with me? What was wrong, I decided, was that I was worried that feeling like I was about to pass out was the... Sorry. What was wrong, I decided, was that I was worried that feeling like being about to pass out was the result of mixing Flexeril and alcohol, and that I was in a no-win situation, where if I stopped doing that, I wasn't going to be able to play from the cramps in my hand, but if I kept doing it, I might black out right on the stage. That was a scary thought, and one I was not doing a good job of facing. Shit. I felt guilty for needing the crutch, and I felt guilty about drinking anything at all, as if the worst thing about it wasn't that I might black out, but that I was doing something wrong by going against the doctor's orders. Stupid, right? Okay. I thought I promised myself I'd stop judging myself so harshly. Still, stupid. There I was, basically in guilt-ridden paralysis until Colin caught up with me. Are you okay? Fine, just wiped out. That was amazing, you know. He had crouched down to look into my face, and he had such thick, dark eyelashes it almost looked like he was wearing eyeliner even though he wasn't. I've never seen you like that. Well, maybe once, that time in the studio. Cool, I said, because I didn't know what else to say. He was complimenting me, and I didn't want to disagree. But come on, you're late getting dressed. Okay. I tried to stand up and didn't make it, sitting back down. In a minute. Colin motioned to someone else, and the next thing I knew, he and Bernard were working on me like I was a prize fighter between rounds. They peeled me out of my clothes. I was sweaty and chilly at the same time. They spritzed me with water and wiped me down and dressed me like an oversized rag doll. Bernard did my full-on stage makeup. The whole process took under 10 minutes. I stood up and stayed up this time. Flip put a guitar on my shoulder and I was ready to go. The band was mustered to one side of the stage, the dancers on the other. At least, that's where they were supposed to be. I couldn't see them from this side, but I could picture them. I could imagine Ziggy in all his rhinestone spandex glory in the middle of the gaggle. The lights went black and the crowd started screaming. A roadie lit the stairs with a flashlight so we could take our places without smashing our faces. There's a saying I've heard, maybe from Carl Sagan, if you go out looking for shooting stars, even if you see only one, your night's been a success. No matter how long and dark and cold that night has been, that one bright streak across the sky makes it all worth it. That's how I felt when the spotlight hit Ziggy. That's it.
Chapter number is that?
I don't know, 800 something? Yeah.
Well, I need to start at number 1. And
Yeah,
get that.
yes. Start at number 1 and you'll eventually know what all's going on there. Alright, put my glasses back on. Alright.
Okay, so they're short chapters.
They're very short little chapters, yeah. They're I don't know, that's just how it worked out. When I started writing this version of the story, I was in grad school. And I started writing it my first semester of my MFA program. And it was a novel workshop. And every week you were supposed to turn in 1,200 words, basically. And, you know, five pages, double spaced, whatever, it comes out to about 1,250 words, right? 250 words a page. And so each week you turned in 5 more pages of your novel, and everyone else in your workshop also turned in 5 pages, and you would read each other's 5 pages and critique them, and then you would hand out the next 5 pages, right? It's an incredibly slow way, as far as I'm concerned, to write a novel. And I couldn't turn in a piece of something. Like I don't know. I didn't realize I was doing this, but so I would write a complete chapter that was 1,200 words long, and 1,200 words long, and 1,200 words long, and it's very short. I mean, some people, it's like the opening paragraph of like a James Mitchell novel is more than 1,000 words long. I mean, you know, it's like.
Well, I'm reading Wonder to Children now, and it's the same way. The way it's written is like each chapter is a page and a half long.
Right, and it's a different pace than people are used to, and it's one of the reasons why this didn't work as a novel, because it's not a novel. It's in fact a serial told in these little bursts. And that's how our character eventually figures out his shit, is little tiny bit at a time. So,
Which is kind of life, because I'm still figuring
Sometimes
out.
you get very angry.
yeah, sometimes you get very angry, and I was like, I get the emails from the comments from you guys who are just like, you know, I want to slap Daron upside his head. Well, somebody tell that boy that, you know, whatever. And I'm like, well, some character's probably going to tell him that pretty soon, or maybe not. It might be another 200 chapters before he figures this one out, you know, whatever. Just, yeah, exactly. And, you know, and where the story starts, he's so young and so inexperienced and so, you know, whatever. He's in the closet and, you know, whatnot. And then here we are 1,000,000 words later, literally. We passed the length of Harry Potter a couple of chapters ago. And it's like, you know, he's so much more clueful and much more functional now than he was, but he's still got.
All right, so have you finished the book?
No,
Okay,
I'm writing it as we go along.
Do you know how it's going to end, Jeff?
I have arcs
It's
of
not gonna end.
plot.
Yeah.
Yeah, they're in denial that it's ever going to end. But yeah, I have certain plot arcs that end at certain times, but they kind of overlap with each other, and I'm not sure how long it will take to get through all of them, basically. So
And then she's
Yeah.
gonna think of new ones.
yeah.
Stories.
Well, and you know, we have to get Ford's story at some point, because of course he's in the modern day, you know, and whatnot. So people I've started heterosexual series of rock star romances that have been done by a big publisher in New York. And those books are in Barnes & Noble, and, they're all over the place. And that's about a rock band also. And that one, because it's heterosexual romance, it's just like book 1 is about the lead singer and his true love, and then book 2 is about the acoustic guitar player and his, whatever. The book 3 is about the drummer. The bass player of that band is the son of another character in Daron's Guitar Chronicles, and Daron's his godfather. He's an infant in this point in Daron's Guitar Chronicles, and he's 20-something in that Rockstar series. And so it's like, if they let me write more of those, Ford would have gotten a book, but I don't think they're going to let me write more of those. So Ford will have to get his book within Daron's Guitar Chronicles.
Oh, we're talking 30 years then.
Yeah.
This is only 3 days, and it's been like 5 weeks.
Right. Yeah. So.
We need to get more people
Yeah.
giving money.
I know, speed it up.
Please do.
Right, speed it up. Yes, because if more people gave money, then more chapters would be published per week. It's true, because then I will write more of this and less of other things. It's just how it works.
I've broken up with Daron about 5 times. But I say, I'm just really not going to read this anymore. I can't do it. Like, it's so emotionally attached, and I'll get mad, and I'll say, I'll tell my husband or my daughter. My daughter's 9, and she's like, if I'm like,
Are you reading?
And she's like, what did Daron? Is it Daron?
Right.
I'm like, yes.
Yeah.
Daron, Ziggy.
My daughter.
Right. What did Ziggy do now? What did? Yeah. Yeah. What?
They know the general story,
And they're like, what did Ziggy do now?
Or are you mad at Daron this time? Or,
Yeah. Who are you mad at this
I'm
time?
really upset sometimes, but I think that says something about your writing, is that I get so emotionally invested where I'm like ready to throw my computer and say, you know what,
Right.
Cecilia, screw you. I'm not doing this anymore. I don't want to know what happened.
Oh
There was
God.
one chapter, the chapter when we found out about too much.
Right.
That I literally dropped my phone and I sat on my bed for 4 hours staring at my phone. Like, what the fuck just happened? For 4 hours, just staring at my phone. Like, how do I get away with this? How did no one come in my room and say, like,
Right. What? They just knew.
I can't even
Form words.
a
Yeah.
word.
Well, but that's pretty much how Daron felt, and so that's how you felt. I mean, I learned an important lesson about manipulating people's emotions through fiction, though, in one of these other het romances that I wrote is a 3-book series that have cliffhangers in 2 of the books, because it's the same couple carrying through all 3 books. It's a 50 Shades of Grey style book, so that's 3 books about the same couple. So they have to break up at the end of book 1 and book 2, so that there's a reason for them to get back together, as for the other books. And my publisher literally made me break them up. It's kind of at the end, it's like, I had come up with 3 books where they get together and, whatever. So the way I did that was I backed up and ended it sooner, so it ends on a cliffhanger, right? So they have a huge argument, and then the book is over. And our heroine feels betrayed, angry, like she has huge unfinished business, but she is done with him. She's never looking back, whatever. And I got all these Amazon reviews from readers who were like, I feel betrayed. I feel like there's unfinished business, but I'm never coming back to this, blah, blah, blah. And I was like, this is really interesting that essentially every reader feels exactly like this heroine feels, which is what you're supposed to feel. You're supposed to feel what the main character feels. Unfortunately, that means that I got all these 1-star reviews on Amazon from people being like, no more cliffhangers, whatever. And I'm like, that's it. Literally, and I wrote a few apologies where I'm like, I'm really sorry about the cliffhangers, but my publisher literally forced me, because they were like, people will not buy books 2 and 3. And that was actually what sort of turned the tide against these trilogies, in mainstream romance publishing, which was kind of a blip. Romances are usually standalone books. And it was like they only went to trilogies because 50 Shades was a trilogy, and they were like, well, people must like that. And it's like, no, people did not like that. They were just addicted, and whatever. And it's like people would rather just buy one really big, long book for more money than have it all broken up, and they see it as like a ploy by the publishers to get you to buy more books, and they're like, I'm done with this ploy, and I'm like, I'm done with it as well. So we're not doing that again. Yeah, so but that's the great thing about self-publishing, is that I'm in control of how I do Daron's Guitar Chronicles, how fast it comes out, who's, whatever. So no restrictions. But all right, we've gone over an hour on our live stream now, so I think I'm going to say goodbye to the people on the internet, because if the live streams get too long, then they don't download and whatnot like that. So thanks all for joining us from Louisville. If you have questions, I forgot to put my phone number up so you could text me questions and whatnot, but you guys probably can Google my phone number online if you have questions, and we will answer them in a future live stream or something. It's been a while since we did a chat with Daron also, so we need to set up one of those. There's got to be a milestone coming up soon that we could do. That's true. November is the anniversary. Yeah, of 2009. What year is this? 2017. So yeah, it'll be 8 years. So definitely November we'll do a live chat, live stream, and whatnot. And now I'm gonna make you guys take the quiz, I think. Bye. Bye. I'm gonna stop streaming now.